Okay, so it's just right before 4 on the 20th, Sunday. My God, isn't it crazy how I can't believe how fast time is moving now. It's moving so fast. What was it? Oh, yeah, it was one of these people who is, uh, channels the Galactic Federation. No, a Palladian. Yeah, because she said that, what was it? It was something happened when she was a kid, I think. And she went, and she found herself on a ship or something. And then she's with this 6-foot blonde woman whose name was Raina. And she told her a bunch of stuff, and she's been talking to her ever since. And so she said, Raina told her that time is going to be speeding up. She told her a bunch of stuff, but I mean, I don't think there was anything different than what I've been saying, but the time will be speeding up. This is the thing, is like it's weird because it's not like we are out spinning like we were told, but there is movement of time and existence, and like right now, I mean, I think we can all feel it. It's just like, oh my God, it's already Wednesday. Oh my God, it's already Sunday. It just like it just feels like it's going faster, 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 faster. And she said it was going to be going faster, but I think it's the way the girl interpreted it, that the planet's spinning faster. But it's not, the planet's not spinning faster because the planet doesn't spin. It's time, it's existence, it's this a reality. It's like the movement of nature, and it is like the movement is it's kind of like the energy, but it's like, you see like this coil thing, and it's like boing, like one of those boing kind of things. But then like well, they used to always be on doors. There was these little things, and so I'm seeing that too. But this coil thing, and then how it goes, and then this reverberation, and the movement of the vibration. And so it's like it's going faster, but it's because it's going in different, it's going to go the different direction. It's like boing, but it's going to go the other way. It's not going to go. It's not like we're going to spin out and spin, the earth's going to spin and we're just going to speed up faster. It's not like that. It's this but things are this, but it's like the finale before the change. So it's like, this is ending faster, this is going faster, this is over, we're going faster and faster and faster. And that's why it gets more and more uncomfortable for people who don't deal with their shit, man. It's like nobody deals with their shit. God, so crazy. I keep laughing. I keep laughing very inappropriately. I just can't help myself. But I do have empathy, because I too was totally dysfunctional and toxic and didn't know how to fix things. It's like, it's like when things get so bad that you don't have any choice. You gotta fix it, or it's like you gotta do something. And even when you don't know what to do, you just gotta do something different than you were doing before. And and also what led me was my guides, and also what became awareness to me was, you don't do it before you're supposed to do it. Like, you can't hear what you cannot hear. You cannot see what you cannot see. You have to get to a point of understanding before you can go in a direction. So, I mean, you say, well, you've got guides, then why were you ever fucked up? Because I was supposed to be. That was supposed to happen. The things that happen in your life are supposed to happen. It's a part of your plan. It's a part of your lessons. It's a part of what you're here to work on or heal or learn or experience. And everything is this like shifting through, it's like the barriers or parameters of existence, which has to do with, because it's universal law. Things are set the way they're set. And then like what we refer to as karma. And so it is that you're going back and forth. It's like overcorrection, 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 overcorrection. And so you're constantly trying to find that. But here, as though time is speeding up, we are slowing down to organize our own self, to bring ourselves into alignment, to stop the overcorrection, 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 and to pull ourselves into balance. Because when we're overcorrecting, just bouncing back and forth in experience after experience, then it is, oh, wait a second, because I could see it. Some of these things, it's like, let me get a trick of this. Hold on. It is, I keep hearing chaos, chaos, chaos. But it's like we create our own chaos. And then when we take the time to slow down, then we find our what is that? It's like our equilibrium. So we pull ourselves into balance. We pull ourselves in by pulling in all of our vision, by focus, and pulling ourselves to ourselves. But it's difficult because there's a lot to you that people don't want to acknowledge. And so it's a challenge. And that is what it has so much to do. Like, and people who get all upset and sad because my life's been so hard. Well, for one thing, you chose it, no matter how much that triggers people, and you chose it because it has to do with what you're here to learn on, that people are here to push you, are here to push the things inside of you so that you can find yourself. Because without that, you would be lost in this game. Everybody would be lost, but you're not meant to find it before you find it. That is meant to be part of your lessons, a part of your learning. So when you look back at yourself, you see yourself, and you see these sides of yourself. And that's where you got to be honest with yourself. So yeah, I can look back at myself and see like, oh, geez, Kelly, like, you were a real fuck up, weren't you? Like, you had some shit. But I was lost, man. Like, just like everybody, we're lost. And so, when I'm witnessing or observing now people who are still in that state, I do have empathy, but it is also, it's just kind of hilarious. I don't know. But I do laugh at myself too. This morning, and the dogs, sometimes they can drive me fucking crazy. I could get up my fucking chair. Max is just over here just lounging. It's like, dude, you're getting my chair all dirty because you are dirty. Dogs are fucking dirty. Just put something down that is white, have them lay on it all the time, and you will see it becomes grimy. They can look clean as fuck, but something grimy about them. Like, they just get shit. And this chair is white with this writing on it. So anyways, it's just like, whatever. It's a $15 chair, but still I like it. It's like, dude, you already took my first chair, my $10 chair. You already took that one over. It's like, now you're trying to take this one. I haven't messed with that. My other $10 chair over there, the rocking chair they keep away from. I got my $10 chair, my $10 chair. I think this one was $15. This one was $15. And then you had to pay for the ottomans too. But anyways, Stella has this thing because she's got the jowls, and so she'll go fill those mothers up. And then she'll come and wipe them all over you. And so it's like, oh my God, don't wipe your face all over me. And And just like to Max, it's like, I know you know what I'm talking about. That is your chair. This is my chair. Stay out of my chair. You go in your chair. And I know they're not stupid. They understand. And I don't know why they just keep doing stuff. But anyways, I was, so I was saying something to Stella, and I go, "Are you seriously trying to drive me crazy?" And all of a sudden, it took me back to when I was a mom of small kids. How many times I used to say that? Are you seriously trying to drive me insane? You're going to drive me insane. I don't know. It just cracked me up because I don't know. It just that was something that I felt like my kids were trying to do. I don't know. I don't know. It just cracked me up. There was something else that was cracking me up last night because you know, everybody's got shit going on. And then when you are around living in a place, in a closed space, you witness what other people go through. And my mom got in this thing with her sister the other day. There's a whole thing like going on with, yeah, everybody's got shit going on. And so, anyways, my aunt had said something to my mom, and my mom got irritated with my aunt. My aunt was irritated with my mom, and it was just like, and you know, my mom's thinking, oh, she's just crazy or whatever. But exactly what my aunt said is exactly happening. I just can't quit. Oh, life is so funny. It just cracks me up. Oh, and then I know though it's hard when you're the person who's going through it, but it's like we have these warning shots coming at us all the time, but we don't want to listen. We argue back. It's like, and when she told me, I said, well, you know, I mean, that could happen, but that's a definite sign of what you need to work on, and that's boundaries. But I know, you know, I mean, it's pretty common. Most people need to work on their boundaries because most people are going beyond what they want to give, and then they go into resentment. They go into, it sets a whole thing in motion. And it's the way, healthier way is to have boundaries, to learn that it's okay to say no. It's okay. The world's not going to end. You have every right to have parameters over what you're willing to do with your energy. And you have to hold some for you. You have to keep some near. You can't just expel it all because then you will become drained and resentful of everybody around you. So you have to know how to, you know, say, well, I've only got this much energy and I need to keep a little for me. I can give you this much, but I can't give you all of it. And, you know, and it's a difficult thing. And the tests are always get harder and harder and harder. But anyways, that's I don't know. I like I said, I have a warped sense of humor or something. But but I do feel like that is the thing. Like I do feel like, are you trying to drive me crazy? I swear to God. I swear to God. Yeah, I just saw. I put it into my watch list yesterday. Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte. God, I loved that movie when I was a kid. And it's creepy, but talking about somebody trying to drive you crazy. So I'm still gonna watch that. The next few days is gonna be rainy and cloudy, not exactly cold, but when the sun's not out and it's rainy and stuff, it feels colder than what they say it is. So, anyways, the next few days is I'm almost done with this series that I was watching, We Are Liars. And it's like, fuck, man, you see some of the dysfunction because some of this stuff is real. It's not like people in rich families do try and they talk about putting on some masks, man. Trying to pretend like you're something you're not, trying to, and always being judged, and this strict, like, rules and shit, this way that you got to present yourself and stuff. Which that CEO guy, his shit is blowing up, man. It is just going crazy. The people of Love Island, that shit is just blowing up and blowing up on social media. It's just getting crazier and crazier, where it's like becoming kind of dangerous. Okay, it's kind of scary. And this CEO guy, more and more now he's lost his job, and And the woman who he was cheating with, she's married to another CEO. It's like, I don't know, these circles and the people who run them, and, I don't know. And is that his challenge? I'm going to take you away from that guy. I don't know what drives people. It's not integrity, I'll tell you that. So it's deeper wounds or something, but those are the things that we're here to heal. Those are the things we're here to experience in ourselves, so that we can look at ourselves and be real with ourselves and be like, ooh, look at you. Look at you. It's like, but that's what you got to be able to do. But also, you can't be hard on yourself, because you can't see before you're supposed to see. And so you'll see at the right time. And so anyways, yeah, I was fucked up for a long time, man. And when I look back, it's like any of these people that I see, like even Huda, her fuckery. It's like, fuck, man. I think I've done some of the same shit, man. I think I've been as dysfunctional as her. So, but the thing is we don't want dysfunctional people who are carrying on dysfunction, making excuses for ourselves, is being the role models. It's like, step down, become, focus on your healing. And she's so weird because, I mean, of course, there was like body counts in the thing because people were just fucking in the show. Like everybody saw. We all saw. We all watched. And the show was so sold on sex. These producers, which, it comes from the top too. Who knows what there's a lot of these producers and want these jobs, but they're told, get this. We want that. We want drama. We want sex. We want raunch. We want to feed the public raunchness. So, then they do for their checks, which I just saw a thing about this professor who works at a college in San Jose or something, so over by the Bay Area, and she makes like $2,500 a month, and she's homeless. She can't afford the rent. She has to live in her car. That's the fucking absurdity in this fucking world. And she's in debt for $143,000 because she went back to school because she had got laid off from her tech job. Everything is just, and it's all individual too, but there's a micro, macro of everything. Hold on. So weird, because I'll be thinking I might be talking about something, and then it just goes in this other. So anyways, this Huda with her body count and her bad behavior and her toxic behavior, and then trying to play the innocent victim, and everybody was mean to her and stuff like that. It's like, dude, you are like the rudest person on the thing. You're constantly saying, always whining and crying, like, poor me, always twisting situations so you could play the victim, always having to get people on your side. I mean, she was so toxic. And then she's the one who was a mom, who made a big thing, which I thought was so weird because she was like, it's a secret. I was like, I was a young mom, and I would no fucking way would I have kept that a secret from anybody. There's no way I'm going to start a relationship and then you're not going to know my priorities. You're not going to know I'm a mom. You think I'm going to go and get all cozy with you and then bring it up? No. You're going to know right off the bat. The sucky thing is that most guys, they'll, and who knows if it's just like, well, I'm not that serious about you, but yeah, I want to go out with you. I want to bang you. So, God dang. Fucking, well, we do have a fire. It's not like right in our back door, but it is where my mom has tons of friends over there, and they had another fire, but there's evacuations going. They closed down a road, which I said they closed down these fucking roads. And then she had me put this app on because her phone was dead, so we could watch the fire because the smoke was intense, man. And one of her friends above us, she was already preparing. She had her car packed up for evacuation. It's like, well, it's got a ways to get to us. And right now it's still at 575 acres. and which seems so tiny when you hear some of these other fires, 30,000 acres and shit. And there's so many fires. When I put on that fucking app, it's like, oh my God, the whole west side of the state or the whole west side of the country is on fire. You got floods on one side and weirdo storms, and then you got over here just fires. So over there, they're going to go underwater. Over here, we're going to burn down, I guess. Oh, but there was a woman who she just put out her video. So I guess she's in Idaho. She said something about Treasure Valley or something. But in her thing, it also said, but it starts by Boise. And she said that her kid got up in the morning and said he had another dream. And that he said it was totally day, everything was fine. And suddenly it went dark and two tornadoes came in and just flattened the area, just destroyed it. And so, which, I think there's a lot of premonition ones. But this one guy, okay, that round kind of looking, I don't know why he always looks round to me, but he's bald-headed, round head, and he seems like he's got like a round body, and he's got good. I don't know, he's kind of intense. I don't know, I think he's a preacher or something. But he also is a prophet. He has these prophetic dreams or meditations or something. And so he was going, or somebody was sharing this video of him going through the details over what's going to happen over here in the west side, the coastline, which was fucking intense, man. So he said, something goes with Yellowstone, which Yellowstone has this blue pool that has popped up, and everybody is like, something's going on. Like, where did this fucking blue pool pop up? Which, I know there's water that's going to be coming up from underground and stuff. Because reality is layers. It's not how we're told. You just got to unwrap your mind around what you've been told. That you're spinning out in space and it's just this globe and all this shit. It's different than that. It's layers of realities. And it's all by vibration and stuff. Like that boing. Every little line is a vibration of a reality. And so that is where we are really, is this, this reverberating thing. But it is this movement. But everything is vibration. And so, and it's all these different layers of realities. And so, yeah, realities and history and truth are going to keep popping up everywhere. But anyway, so his thing was, he said that something happens in Yellowstone, and he was seeing it like this gold blanket or sheet or something goes over it. And then all of a sudden, something in Mount Rainier or something. And then, so these reverberations, because underneath, we got all the shifting, because reality is shifting, and what was holding it before is in movement. And so it's falling apart at the core. And so the tectonic plates, as we would refer to them as, is moving in our reality, our landscape, and so it's changing. And so those things are shifting around, which is causing the ground to move and to change directions, and things are changing. And so, which there's been a bunch of seven earthquakes in one area over by Russia. And then there's a whole bunch along the coastline right now of little ones going and going and going. Which over in Russia now, they're also waiting a tsunami from their big earthquakes. So shit, that's the first ones I've heard, like over by Russia. But but there's bunches going. I mean, there's lots going. Like this is the changing. This is the ending of one reality to begin a new reality. So, and there's people who are ending their stories in this reality by going out, leaving this whole game. But there's some that we continue. Our story is that we go to build a new world. And so, we're not all here for the same thing. So so what he said was, so this weird thing happens, Yellowstone, which is a volcano, and then another volcano. We got 5 here. There's a whole bunch in Oregon. Like, there's tons of volcanoes over here. And there's probably even more. I swear to God, there's probably dormant ones under it. Like, we don't even know about. No telling. And, because they wouldn't fucking tell us shit, these motherfuckers. The ones that know, they want to keep us in the dark. They want to just keep us out there grazing in the pasture, fattening us up so we can be a hefty meal, and then feed the leftovers to everybody else. Fucking weirdo world. So, he said, so these things happen, and then all of a sudden something happens by the water, which, this is where it got really creepy to me. Hold on. I still finish it. So he said, you remember in that movie I talked about where it said in California, this was some movie, I don't know, one of these Armageddon movies, one of these End of the World movies. And it was, so the fault line or whatever, so California, like this, and in the movie it showed, okay, so they start having this bad earthquake, and then it splits apart, and then it flips up. So it flips up on it, in this movie, it flips up on its side. So all the city, everything is like this way. So you imagine shit's falling because the land splits and flips up straight. And then it crashes down or something. So he said, what he saw was over by Seattle. He said it's going to go up to like British Columbia, I think a little past, so it's like the edge of Canada too. Come down, and then Puget Sound, so it's a peninsula there. And so, but I don't know it doesn't seem like he was talking about that part. But so, because he said, so all of a sudden the land splits. So he said it splits apart and it starts separating. And so all this heavy populated area splits apart, and so it starts separating, but it doesn't just float off. He said it goes like all crazy, but he said it suddenly flips up like that, and then it goes down or something. I don't know, I'd have to listen to it again. It seems like it goes up, but maybe it kind of goes at an angle or something, because he goes in detail to explain this. I was just like, oh my gosh, so that creepy thing I saw in the movie, he's saying it's going to happen over here by Oregon and Seattle, so over by Tacoma. It's so heavily populated, and but there is like an energy there, this energy, progressive, selfish, self-centered. It's all about money. I don't know how to explain it. I mean, a lot of people know, like in big cities, there's just an air of phoniness, and those things are changing. So, but the ones that like are focused or carry that energy or something, like there's gonna be a big change. And I don't know, I'm sure some people will be rescued. I'm sure people will be jumping on boats and getting over to the more solid land. But once it splits, it sounds horrible. And it's going to go underwater. So a whole edge of the country on that whole side. And he wasn't saying too much about California part. But as soon as one thing, it sets off another thing. And so, and he may have another one that he talks about California, but on this one, he was talking about like from Oregon up through Canada, that whole side was going to be a disaster zone. But there's going to be constant disasters going to be going. Like these are not going to stop, and they're going to be in the most heavily dense populated areas because it's the ending. We're not living like that anymore. And so it's going to be the ending of it. And the people who are attached to those lifestyles, they, will go down with the ship. It's going to be like, but it's, you got to remember also, it's not really death. It's just, they leave and then they go and witness themselves. They go in to have a deeper understanding of themselves. And it's like healing themselves. So even though it seems like so horrible and tragic, it really, for the soul, is like a purging of a side of yourself. And so, and we can go into it and look at it in, different ways. So we can go into it and be like, oh, we could go into it as fear. Oh my God, oh my God. This is so horrible. Bad things are going to keep, but there's nowhere to hide. Like, there's literally nowhere to hide. Like, you just don't know. It's like that guy. Like, who would think tornadoes are going to come and destroy places in Idaho and stuff? I mean, they've got tornadoes going all over the place now. It used to be just like in the plains in the Midwest and stuff, and they were battling with tornadoes and stuff. But now it's like they're hit anywhere. It's like tornadoes are starting in the mountains and shit. So like in Colorado or something had some, I don't know. It just keeps being weird shit happening. And so there's nowhere to hide. What's going to happen is going to happen. Whatever you're here to experience, you're here to experience. So feeding into fear is kind of counterproductive for your energy, because then it's feeding a beast that doesn't need to be fed. And so fear is like the last thing that we should do. That then, when things happen, see, then we can get all tore up and how tragic and oh my God, all these people die, but they're not really dying. There's no real death. So they're just leaving. A storyline is ending and a new one's beginning. And so we can get caught up in the tragedy of it, or we could look at it as like all these souls that just ascended out of this storyline. They left this storyline to, and some are going to come into the age of Aquarius. They're going to go to all different realities. And so that reality is going to be an open door. So when somebody leaves here, they still can come to the other one. It's not like they're trapped. It's just like it's another game is starting. It's just some souls are here to move into that direction, and then other ones are here just to complete their stories. It depends on what your soul, what your soul is working on, what your soul is dealing with, and how your soul wants to use the situation. But when you have real loss, when it's not just as expansive as like, all of Seattle was killed yesterday, and how sad it is when it's, real people, real family members and stuff. And it's like, and you feel the loss and the pain, and oh my God, I wonder if they were scared and stuff. And that's one thing over the life reviews and stuff. The fear of what's happening to people is it's not, it isn't like, to us we can be like, oh my God, how scary, how horrible, but it's like it's like it's like their vision or something changes. It's like something changes in you. It's like you release or something. You go into a different state of consciousness, and and you could think of it as like survival or something. So you go into this other state of consciousness, and so you do what you got to do, and then it's like, and if you leave, it's just like, boom, you're gone. It's not like how it appears to us. So to us, it can appear, horrible and scary and tragic. But that is also where you start feeding into the fear. So, but there are going to be these horrible big things are going to happen. And just when I was listening to him talk about it, I was like, oh, that's so creepy, because I saw it in that movie. And it's like, oh, God, that's so creepy. Land come and split apart and then go up. Oh, like, fuck. And who knows how far up? It may just like a little, movies or, AI can make it look a lot weirder, but it could be just like it goes up a little and then slams down or something. I don't know, just like it doesn't have any, like, you think about like if you were underneath the land, and how the because I see like underneath an island, and like almost like a root system, like a balance in this isn't an island, even though there's going to be some new islands that are going to come from this, but it isn't an island. It's out of balance under there. I mean, so it's rocky. It isn't balanced like a normal island, which when those islands were made, that it probably had parts that broke off too. So, and then it came to the part where it was, and that could be what it is too, is like, so that one breaks off, but this part right here has a structure underneath that can hold it in its buoyancy. And so the other parts go under the water, but then this part is able to stay afloat or something. And there's going to be like mountains and stuff. So, mm, which is so trippy, because how like we can see mountains, but some of these, you know, were under water before, and just sticking up. Like there's all like ever like this stage. Okay, so if you think of Earth as a stage, has changed its landscape, changed its clothes for different realities. And so it's had different shapes and different just different landscapes. So it's been different throughout its experience with it's so weird, because any of the things, it's like, well, mankind, well, earthlings, well, humans, like, as living beings participating in the in the experience is had different, as I can see lots of different experiences. And kind of, what was that movie called? I think it had Tom Hanks in it. It was something like Alpha Air, but in the movie, it's like it shows, I think it's like one soul, but it goes through all these different experiences. And it's like, that's like what reincarnation is, but it has all these different ones that it goes. And so it's, you know, I mean, it lives as a, not, you know, like we want to think of cavemen being like, you know, not knowing how to talk and stuff. Beings have always developed some communication. And so the most primitive man, so maybe back when we were part animal or something, that they're, but even apes and stuff, they have communication. Yeah, all animals can talk to each other. You know, everything develops some type of communication, whether it's rudimentary or more, you know, like they don't all put out a book and a dictionary and tell you what words, and then they start, you know, combining words. Like, there's a lot of weird shit with our language, but it's very controlled. And there's a whole thoughts about them creating things that we set ourselves spells and stuff. So we keep ourselves in a state of illusion. You know, that's why we got to break free. That's the awakening. And so but in this movie, what is it called? It's like two words. I keep thinking alpha something, but it's not. Atlas. I think it's Atlas. Atlas something Atlas or something. But anyways, it shows like this one soul going in, like, they don't do it like that. They have, I think it was like an experience, and then it's like, oh, this soul is in that one now it's in that one, now it's in that one. And then you align back with different souls all the time. Like, you're always going through these experiences with your same kind of group of souls. Which last night I was, fuck, that's why I even got up this morning. There was a fucking loud noise. Hold on, I'll finish this. Because last night, because in the other realms and stuff, what I have found, you meet up with souls that you don't be around in the physical, but you're still connected to them. And I don't know if it's like this merging or something. I don't know. You know, it's weird. But because there's lots of different people who've come in and out of my life, and I don't remember interacting with them in my dreams beforehand. And this has been going on for such a long time, man. And but last night it was long, and we just kept hanging out and hanging out and hanging out. And when I'm in those ones, it's like, oh, I don't want to leave this place. I just want to keep hanging out. And it's like, oh, I just want to go back to sleep and go hang out with them some more. But we have soul connections, and so our souls are meeting up. I don't know, it's a precursor or something, but anyways, we're connected. It's all different souls, and we go through life after life after life with these souls, and so that's not anything weird. That's just the way it is. And then let me think. Oh yeah, because I just saw this video where this so Kim Clements, she's another one of these religious prophetic people, and I don't remember all, I mean, sometimes I'll see somebody sharing her videos and stuff, but and then that other guy, he's religious. But this video, I just saw this guy saying, you know, like the only prophets when you want to know if a prophet's real or not, you got to listen to them, what they talk about Jesus. It's like, oh my God. And then this other video, this girl pops up. Well, I channel source. You know, it's like, it's just another word for saying I'm channeling God. It's like, I don't understand why it isn't. You know, I'm tapping into the universal consciousness, and this is the information I'm receiving. And, you know, because you've got a lot of communication. And I don't know. I don't know. It just weirds me out. I know that, you know, there's so many people, and they're all channeling somebody. But, what was that, too? Because it was something where it was, because there is a lot of people, you know, who think they're channeling, you know, a higher spirit or whatever, but they're really channeling lower ones. And it's all about fear and stuff, which I don't even know, you know, with this guy. But I do know that these things are going to be happening. I do know that our landscapes are going to be changing. And we're going to go in and we're going to have a different map. We're going to have it's a new stage. It's a whole new stage that we're going to be experiencing. But as this one is cleared, it's dramatic. But we're here to go through the drama because it expands us in our vision of self and our experience. And death isn't real, and we're not really scared of it in our truth. But there is a sense of fear of pain and suffering and struggle and stuff, because we all have done that. We do go through that. We all have been through a lot of pain and struggling and strife through the different life experiences. Now I kind of want to see that movie again. Atlas, something Atlas. I can't stand Tom Hanks, so like there's some of these actors, it's just like, ugh, God, they're so cringy. Because you know, like, that they're involved in such heinous fucking bullshit, man. They're just creepos. And when they have no feeling for compassion or empathy, it's like a very antisocial behavior, you know. And we've got so much of that being exposed, like so many people just doing horrific things. Just horrible shit, like no empathy, even, you know, to the point of like just being bullies and making fun of people publicly. You know, is one thing if you're sitting there with your friend and you're like, oh yeah, look at that person, boy, I don't ever want to get that big or something, you know, and you're talking amongst yourself, you know. Is one whole nother thing when you start attacking them And then public shaming them and public humiliating. It's like, that's a whole nother level of bullying. And it just is so weird because I don't know. I just was always put off by bullies. And even when I had kids, I used to tell them, if you ever see a bully at school, then you go stand with the kid who's being bullied. Don't ever stand on the side of the bully. I was something that was just like, I cannot stand. And I cannot stand people to just be gang up on people like that and make fun of like the pain of being, but then, it has to do with your soul's journey too. Like, we can't protect everybody from what they're here to go through. It's one thing we would want to go in and save people and stuff, but this, especially at this time on the planet, this is about saving yourself. This is about seeing your own truth, saving yourself, taking steps to what's good for you. And there's, there's still tons going on with this, with the money stuff. There's apparently, I guess Tulsi has gone out, she's called a bunch of people out and wants the arrest to be made. It's going to keep splintering. God dang, man. Fuck. It's going to keep splintering and splintering and splintering and becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. More and more is going to be getting sucked in. And it's going to draw all these different people in. Like, I swear to God, everyone wants to focus on this list, but it really does. Like, it's still going. Like, the people who have committed the crimes are going down. It's just they are. Even when by all appearances, it seems like they're not. They are. There's real arrests being made. And, this is another thing, too, where they keep, these, whoever it is, it's like, I don't know, it's like the dark hats or whatever. They go and get this footage and then they release it. And they can do it through the media and stuff, too. And then they release it and then they blame it on somebody else. But then when you go and you look, like there's videos right now going around, oh, that's Alligator Alley. That's what they're doing. He's so horrible. Look what they're doing. But that is footage of when Barack and Joe were, there was a whole thing going, but, the media is not twisting it in a direction then. Then it's for the best. But it was really horrible. They were keeping people in cages and stuff. And even over at the Alligator Alley, they've got rooms. They don't have, when you are more of a tuned into your spiritual side and you understand about, what you put out comes back to you, the karmic debt of existence, then yeah, you're not going to be torturing people. You're not going to be doing things that you're going to be entangled with these people. So you're going to treat them humanely. And it's even a touchy subject, over deciding, what it is right and what's wrong. But but the changing of the energy is no longer going to allow for people who, what is that? It's like people who are, take advantage of other people, the way that, these people do to kids. Like, that is anti, like it was like, okay, that could go for a while and people could come in and have these experiences, but then it's time for it to stop. And but anyways, I think that a lot of the white hats, the alliance or whatever, and I do believe that they are talking to higher dimensional beings too, and that they understand, like, and they are not going to be like, no matter how heinous these people are, that they aren't going to do things that's going to keep them in an entanglement with that soul. So they're not going to treat them inhumanely. But there's going to be a lot of the end of your time here. So it's the whole thing is kind of a touchy thing because of how like karma and stuff works. Like when you go and you take somebody out, then you have got an entanglement, an energetic entanglement with this person. And so, and they're going to be taking a lot of people out. It's like, so it's like a whole nother level of, and I don't know, some of the things like, oh, I don't know, because I wouldn't want to be the one, doing it, because I wouldn't want to be entangled with them. So I don't know, but there's definitely going to be people leaving, but I definitely do not see, Donald putting people in these cages and torture them. And they made that place has rooms, it has beds and stuff, and they're not taking kids and locking them up. Any kids they would be taking, it would be to protect them. It would be to get them to a safer place. And there is this whole thing too about, what did I see him say? Something about, it was something, because I had said years ago about when it comes down to the money coming back, which I'm hope it's August 1st, man. I swear to God, the first thing I'm doing is looking for a place. But I like buy a house on land. I was looking at some land over online, but in northern Idaho, it was like 35 acres for like 155,000, which the prices of things are going to go way down. There's going to be land that's going to be just given away, but and everything is going to go way cheaper. But it's not built up. I mean, there's not power and water and all that. Like, but it was right on the river, which is also like, fuck, all these waters are going to be raising. So, you wouldn't want to go, I wouldn't think, just go build a house right down on the river. You want to be a little further back if the water raises. But everybody's got their own lessons, and you don't know, how things are going to go. But there's going to be a lot of changes in the water and the land. But anyways, so, but I think there's going to be a lot more direction, because they do have some kind of looking glass thing. They do have some kind of where they know what's going on, what's up. And which, this is weird. So that CEO and that girl got seen at the Coldplay thing, that is in fucking The Simpsons in 2015. What? They were standing exactly the same, dressed exactly the same. It's like, how could that be? Like, it is the craziest stuff. I go, we are definitely in a fucking movie. Like, it's so crazy. Oh, and another thing that's tripping me out. What was this one? It was some storyline. And because there's so many of these true crime people, and so many people who are talking about all these news and true crime, and they're like, oh my God, and this is happening, and this is happening. What was it? It was something. And as I'm listening, I'm like, I saw this movie. Like, this was a movie on Lifetime. Which, what have I said for so long? I said Lifetime movies have always been our stories. And but when I had seen it on Lifetime years and years ago, it was a true story then. I mean, these stories just keep playing out. It's so weird. And then when people don't know, they think this is the first time it's happening. It's like, no, this story already played out. There's just so many that I keep hearing in the news. It's like, oh shit, that was a Lifetime movie. That was a true story on Lifetime. And here we go, playing it out again. So I don't know. It's weird. It's just weird shit all the time. And it does everything. Everything feels so weird. Like, oh my God. God dang. Whoa, yesterday. God, everything felt so weird. Everything is so weird right now. And the way time is moving. And the fires came out of nowhere. Like, I was outside, everything's totally clear, and then I kept hearing these loud planes, and I was like, what the hell is going on? And then I'm thinking, okay, there must be a fire. This has got to be the planes that are coming and filling up at the lake to go dump it on the fire. And so I looked out the window, And then I saw my mom sitting over there, and she was looking up, watching them, and I was like, okay, this has got to be the planes for the fire. And so then I went outside because Max was going crazy. He was like jumping up every time. And so I opened the door so that they could go out and see, because if I keep the garage door open, it is a fucking oven. Fuck, it's hot and steamy. And so I opened the door and I walked out there, and there was so much smoke. Oh my God. But you couldn't smell it, you could just see it, which was also weird. Because lately, I've been able to go outside and smell smoke, but you don't see anything. Well, this time it was like, it looked like the whole sky was like a big bruise was happening in the sky. And in these big ass planes flying down and going into the water to fill up, and then they go over and dump it on the thing. And they had 4 or 5 of them going. And then on the thing, it says that they got all these planes going. They had the roads all blocked off yesterday, but there's evacuations. They got Red Cross set up at some high school or something. So they evacuate you from your house while they're fighting the fire around your house, but they have you just go to another area that is safe and go in the school. So they're not trying to get you to leave on the roads and stuff. And but still, there's evacuations that do happen where you do have to find a way out, and they do block off these roads, and you do need to know your back ways around. And so, and then they have it in stages. So there's the ones that are evacuated, there's the ones that are supposed to prepare for evacuation, and then there's the ones that just be aware that you may have to get your shit together. And one thing too over in this area is a lot of livestock and stuff too. So they've got the one group has already been evacuated. They said that they've been fighting the fire all night long, and that once the morning comes, they're going to go at it again. But it's still, they feel like they have kind of control over it. But yesterday the winds kept going, and so, you know, the winds can just come in, and that's what just rocks it. And we've got the storms coming. Today it's supposed to be cloudy, so who knows if it's going to be wind, because I swear they have wind machines. And then the next couple days after that is going to be rain, so that's a help in fighting any fire. So it should stay more contained over there, but another one can start. And this is the thing too, because this was a snappy snap the other day with my mom, where I was like, you know, I'm like, I was like, oh my God, on the weather thing, it said now, you know, it will say cloudy, cloudy all day or whatever. And then all of a sudden they start having an atmospheric river. I'm just like, what the fuck are they talking about? We got an atmospheric river? That's our concern for the day in our weather? It's like, what the fuck? So they come up with these new things. Well, now they had, I looked the other day and they said, fire, what was it? Fire weather alert. Fire weather alert. A fire weather alert? What the fuck are they talking about? Fire weather alert. That's a new one. And so then I go and look, and it's like, it's not just here. It's also Spokane. It's also Yakima. So it's like, oh, we got fire weather alerts all over the fucking state. And so I'm like, well, that's absurd. So they got to come up with new things, you know, to call you know, what the shenanigans are going on. And so I'm always like, you know, anti-government, anti-corporation, call, you know, it's nonsense bullshit. And then I'm always met with resistance. Oh no, it's normal, that's normal and stuff. And so in this one, it was like, oh, there's fires. There's always been fires. It's like, well, it's still a new thing of, oh, we got fire weather. It's like, well, it's dry. It's like, okay, so we're going to name it now. We got fire weather. Like, what? And then, you know, well, fires do start naturally. Okay. So, fires just implode themselves. Which, the other day I said, you know what's weird is that you remember back when there used to be human combustion that was going on all the time? I said, what happened with that? Like, why don't we have people human combusting anymore? Like, for a while we had human combustion. I was scared because I was younger. I was a kid. And I was like, fuck, man. You could just be sitting in your chair and all of a sudden you combust? I'm like, fuck, that's scary as shit. And And so I was like, isn't it weird how all of a sudden there's no fucking human combustion anymore? And I said, especially when we've got all these chemicals we're breathing in and stuff, you'd think there'd be way more human combustion. But, like, I don't know what the hell is going on. Uh, but we, like us, fires can just combust themselves. They can just, it's just fire goes. Somebody's got to start it. Something's got to, there has to be an ember. Yeah, there's like dryness everywhere because they've been fucking baking the fuck out of us. Microwaving us too, I swear to God. But and you should see our clouds, man. Like, it's so weird. Are not fucking clouds. It's just like, God, that's weird over here. And, my stomach's growling. I'm fucking hungry. And the thing about because I was saying, man, I'm having the weirdest things with food, like a lot of stuff. Like, food is completely, and now I'm seeing other people who've been, and they're saying, well, it's our bodies changing and realigning and stuff. So yeah, certain things are going to be bothering you. You're not going to be able to eat that anymore. You're not going to be able, like, if you're drinking a lot of alcohol, you're going to start having a lot of problems. And I'm not smoking. It's just like all of a sudden it was just like, I don't know, it just hit me where it's like, oh, and it was like it was like all these different low vibrational beings had access to me. It's like, oh, hell no, hell no. I don't know. It was just something happening, and it's like, nope, nope, nope. And I do know people who are, drinking a lot, who are now having issues, health issues and stuff. And so the different things are going to start being affecting us more. And so as our bodies are readjusting or something to the new vibrations or whatever, but fuck, man, I have been having weird shit with mine. And I was doing so good before on my feeling like, oh man, I don't have any stomach issues or anything. And then all of a sudden it just came, and it's just like non-fucking stop. And every fucking thing I eat, it's like my body's rejecting and rejecting and rejecting. It's like, oh God, but then I keep getting hungry. It's like, fuck, man, this is rough. So, anyways, the fire, but one thing that has been shown over and over and over, that they've got people who are setting them. They're setting these. So, and there's, as far as I believe, is that there is instigators, is what I'd call them, but they are the troublemakers that are hired by the corporation or the government or whatever. They hire these instigators to come in and create a ruckus. It's like the guy who just rammed through the people in LA the other day. Like, hit 30 people or something on the sidewalk. It's just, I'm just gonna go run over everybody. Oh, and you have there was a guy in North Carolina who was pretending to be an agent of the cold water freezing things, and so he pretended to be one of them, and he started making his own arrests, holding Mexican or illegal. I don't know. How do you even know they're illegal? Like, you're going and asking them for their papers or whatever. And so he's going, because there's plenty of people here who are legal, who don't speak our same language. It's like, but so he was holding them captive. He's going to go deport them himself. We got people who are losing their fucking minds. It's like, don't go and listen to the news and stuff like that. People are losing their fucking minds and going and, they got to take it upon themselves. They're so in fear, and these people are here to hurt us and stuff like that. It's like, okay, well, that's your entanglement then. That's your shit that you got going on, because that's irrational. And that is people just generalize and generalize. But they do have these people here who are, and they can be also people from the mental health communities, that they've got control over the mind by using certain drugs and mind control techniques in order to control them, so that they go and do heinous crimes for them, because their whole thing is always trying to create these super soldiers, which are mindless beasts that will go and do anything, and give them superpowers, half machine, Like, that's something they've been putting in movies for a long time, and that's what they're working on in their labs too. But they do have people here who are here to go and, start fires and go through cities and, crazy with knives and driving cars, driving around propane tanks, gonna blow them and stuff. Like, those aren't all just by accident. They aren't just all just people going wacky. I think this guy who was impersonating an agent, like, he may be somebody who's just lost his mind out of fear. But uh, and some of these people, like, because there's been horrible ones, like, just so much horrible shit that can go on. Uh, you know, these old guys that just open fire on some people. That is, like, they don't, like, the mind control can come through different ways because it can come through programming, and that's why, you sit there and watch news, and it is trippy when you're around someone who just, it's like, you got it on all the time. You've got this information coming all the time. It's like, people don't realize, like, they lock into their programming, they lock into it, and then they've got to have it going and going and going and going and going. Like, I got to have it make sense. It's got to have it make sense. So I've got to have this program running. And they hold on, because some of this stuff, man, these ones that I'm seeing on these things, these podcasts and stuff, where she thinks that they are, they've got all the newest, latest information. They've got it, and they're not the news, and these people are. It's like, well, there's a lot of stuff that they seem to not know, and they're not paying attention to, or something. And like this Charlie Kirk and Jack Prosoviak and what's the other guy? Somebody said his name the other day, because I was like, what is that guy's name? Because he used to be Donald's sidekick, and I think he even got a job in the first administration in 2016, but then there was some kind of weird thing, and then so he went in a different direction, and he has a podcast now, and this is a channel that has all these different podcasts, so they're all one after another, and they talk to each other and stuff too. And I can't think of his name. Whoever said it the other day, yeah, it was that guy was the guy. He's got like the crazy hair. He's not Alex Jones. It's it seems like they're falling. There was something, I don't know, it was something about the water, or something about, it was the oil, maybe it was with the crane, I don't know. There's always these fucking dramas going on, all this stuff. It's all just a bunch of bullshit drama. But that one day when I did hear him saying, he was talking about the spiritual part of the thing, but I think, when you only believe, Jesus is coming, the rapture, the tribulation, and stuff like that, when you hear somebody start seeing that, you just zone out and you go do something else. And so you don't listen. Because to me, I'll be listening to that. It's like, oh, see, this is what you need to hear. But then there's a zone out. And so you just are looking for the word confirms. It's a confirmation bias. So you can only absorb what it is that confirms what you believe. And so you look for that information, and it's very like cult-like, because you have to have it keep going and going and going. And to me, it's like, man, I go and I'm, like I've said, it's like a hummingbird. I'm hitting it all. I'm going here, here, here. I'm trying to hear it all, and I'm not getting, just stuck on something. In the which on one of the things too, I think it's on a letter of the post, where people keep going, like, they say these keywords. You go look up these keywords in the posts, and he said that it's sessions. So something about sessions. Once you something that's going to be a big unlocking or an unveiling of something that's going to take off. Because there's going to be, like, we can be, yeah, it's like, yeah, I see it going up the side of a mountain, but once you get there, it's like a tumbling down. So we're going up, and it's more treacherous, you know, but when we get there, it's like you see it all. So we're going up the side of the mountain when we're climbing it. But once you get to the peak or the top, whatever it's called, then we see it all. So there is, you know, you think of the rocks you hold on to climb. You know, one's Sessions, one's Barack, one's Donald, one's this, one's that. It's like all these different things that we are going to get us up to the thing where it all comes together, that we can see it clearly and we can see it from all directions. That's where we're not to that yet. There's still that. And then think about the people. Everybody's at a different place as we're going up the side of this mountain, and everybody's at a different place, so everybody sees different things, and it depends on what you're holding on to. What rock, what thing are you holding on to? And that is, but you got to let go of that one and go on to the next one and the next one and the next one to get yourself to the top. And there's lots of people that are just, oh, I'm staying right here, this is where I'm at, this is what, you know, and so they're just holding on right there. But you got to keep moving up the side to get to the top to see it all. So but we're gonna get there, even if it is, you know, people passing other people, going around them, getting up. Eventually there's going to be enough people at the top, the people holding on down at the bottom, they're going to have no other choice. So it'll be like putting a rope over and helping them up. That's what it's going to be like. So there's, you know, there's a lot of people who are, it's kind of out of fear or something, you know, because if they change their storyline, it flips everything in their world upside down. They have to hold on to their confirmation bias. They have to hold on to their belief system. Otherwise, everything in their reality crumbles. And it's scary. It's scary and it's very uncomfortable. The less things you have to hold on to. You know, and there's nothing to hold on to in this world because it's all fucking fake bullshit. But that's what they're trying to get us to awaken to, and to see, you know, everything that we've believed in was a created reality to hold us prisoner. And so that's why we have to let go of the things that we've believed in the strongest. But they've created such huge huge storylines, like religion is such a big one, man. It is such a trap of keeping people, like, to think on the level of demons and hell, and there's some God over you, and if you're not a good person, you're going to hell and stuff. Well, who decides who's a good person and who's not a good person? And why would you give this God character that influence over you? Because you got to come into your own of, you know, we're all a little bit good, we're all a little bit bad, but we learn from the viewpoints. You have to have some kind of a thing to put yourself in to give you a place to learn. And so it's not bad to be bad, but you know, it depends on how far you take it, is where your disconnection from self. Do you put things out of balance because you feed into your bad part, which that is where in this world that they created, that has happened. And it has happened before. I mean, they've done this before, Sodom and Gomorrah, and they've created a place where you can really go in and, you know, feel your fetishes. You can really go in and feed into the darkness that resides inside you, the part of you that is, I don't know, thrill seeker, the part of you that is, you know, the harsher part of you, but, you know, as a soul, like, you can see, like, well, you can, like, people feel trapped in their own emotions and stuff, and they don't know how to handle themselves. And that's what the awakening is more about, is getting a handle on your emotions. Oh yeah, this was wacky, man. Yesterday Because what was it? It was like I saw 3 of them. 3 different ones of just absolute bad behavior. This one was this kid. And so he's like in his room recording or something. And he may have just started his recording because of what was going on. So he's in his room and you can hear what's going on outside of his room. And the mom is, she is just going off on this other kid, which I assume is his brother, but I don't know if it's a foster situation or what. I don't know, what the real relationships are, but it's definitely, this is a kid, and the mom person is out there yelling at this other kid. She is so fucking degrading. Oh my God. She is losing her fucking mind. And I don't know. He's dirty and stinky. He hasn't taken a shower or something, which this is something so many parents have dealt with. Like especially when they go from being a kid to a teenager and they get real, and they don't go and take showers. They don't give a shit. They're just dirty and stinky. Well, this mom was fucking losing her mind over it. And she's telling him, you're never going to have any friends. You're disgusting and all this stuff. Like, it was horrible. It was so horrible. And then you go in the comments, and some of the people are very, like, you poor kids, oh my God. And then some people were like, well, sometimes, as a parent, you got to be rough, you got to be tough and stuff like that. But to me, it's like, this is what the whole problem is when you have people who haven't dealt with their own emotional baggage, and then they take it out on their kids. And that's why we have to heal ourselves before we start having kids, because we are not emotionally equipped to deal with some of the struggles and stuff. And so then the parents lose their minds, which, as a parent, the guilt and shame that you carry forth when you really get out of the emotional state you're in. When you're losing your mind, then you get to the calmer state, and then you're like, hold yourself in this pain of shame of, like, being a horrible person. But I can just see is like, we've got to heal our own wounds and stuff before we start going and having kids, because it is we're not equipped to deal with some of the stuff that we have to deal with, and it is emotional. I saw another one, the other, because I saw 3. One of them was a woman, and she has a kid who's autistic or something, and he's 8 years old, and she's still having to change his diapers and stuff like that. And so he digs in his diapers and wipes poop all over the walls, which I've heard these stories through so many different people. And she was losing it, though. She was just screaming and screaming and screaming, like, I just can't take anymore. She's reached her limit. It was like 8 fucking years of this shit. And she shows the walls, poop everywhere, and she doesn't go and do anything to kids. She doesn't say anything to kids. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know his awareness, but she's, filming herself losing it, and screaming and crying and stuff. And so then there's like lots of people in comments. So, yeah, Mama, I understand it's hard, and anyone with autistic kids knows, and all that stuff. But all these challenges that are real that come to us, it's like we have to be better equipped for it, and but I was like, man, if I had a kid who was doing that, I think I would make a room. I would have the room, like how in a shower, how they have those enclosures that you can get, there used to be just tiles, but then they came up with these plastic enclosures because it was petroleum based, I'm sure, and that's what they're selling us all the time. So they make these enclosures, so the walls are like vinyl or something, they're washable. And so I would enclose the room like that. I would have a drain, I would have a sink and a hose, and even their mattress would be a plastic thing, and then put sheets over it or whatever. So all you have to do is take the sheets out. I probably had their own washer and dryer in the room, and I would have them their own little space, kind of like a rubber room, where, yeah, they can, make their maybe, it's like, even outside of the room, have gloves and stuff, kind of like at the hospital, where we had stuff outside the room. So when we went into the room, and hey, oh yeah, because sometimes you'd have to have the stuff brought, because, oh yeah, C. diff is, you got to watch out in the public bathrooms now, because we got the C. diff, and that is really hard to get rid of. And now you got all these young people getting it, and it's spreading on the toilets apparently, and so it's very catching. But now people are getting it, and it's very, very hard, and it's attacking the gut again. And so they overrun us with the bad bacteria. They kill off all the good bacteria with the poisons and stuff that we in our environment. And then, so then anything you can't fight it. And so and you're not absorbing nutrition, your immune system gets depleted, so then you catch everything. So you got these sicknesses that were typically more in old people who had a depleted immune system. Now it is young people are getting it, and now it's getting passed around more, because I guess, people are having to go to work and stuff. And so you just got to watch out. And it has a really potent, typical smell. Like, it has its own fragrance. And it's, so, uh, we just got a lot of sickness, a lot of shit going on. A lot of shit going on. But it's true. And so you got to watch out. And I don't know. It's like, Gary, if you have to use a lot of public bathrooms when your job or whatever in your life, your lifestyle, and you got to go to a lot of public bathrooms, and I guess have wipes and gloves, and make sure you wash your hands really good, and don't just sit. And I don't even know, man. It was a big thing when we would have patients with it, and there would be, like, you'd have to have different things, and you would have things outside of the room, so you'd have to put on masks and things covering your clothes, gloves and everything, before you even went in the room. And then a lot of times you go in the room, and then there's gloves and all that stuff right there, but sometimes it would have to be outside the room. So anyways, if I had a kid who continually did this, I would create an environment where I wouldn't try and fight it, because that would be, draining. It would be draining. Like, but when you expect it, like, well, it's going to probably happen again. I mean, he could still be doing it when he's 12 or 15. I would, for one fucking thing, be detoxing the fuck out of this kid. But most people don't realize, like, the environmental things that are causing this stuff. They go get all their things, and they've got like 70 of them now as a kid. And so they get all those, and that's going to affect them and stuff. And so the detoxing and getting stuff, because there was, the Zeolite was making a lot of nonverbal kids start speaking and stuff. So I would do all of those kinds of things. I would, and don't use any air fryers for them. Don't use anything like with lead and stuff like that. You got to cook clean, for, really clean cooking and stuff. Like, I'm still big on the cast iron and cooking stuff, but then our foods, they've got stuff that they grow into our foods that are toxic for us. So you are battling a uphill stream in order to get where you want to go with some of these kids, depending on how severe what you have going. But I would set up a room, even if it seems really weird. I mean, maybe find a house that has got like there's basements that have drains in it. You can finish a basement. You can go in and make a whole fucking room, and then get the walls where you can go in with the hose and just hose that shit down, and spray some stuff on it and hose it down, which I would use vinegar, white vinegar. I wouldn't be using the toxic chemicals, because that could make their stuff worse and worse. So I would use white vinegar for my cleaning. I'd have a spray thing to spray their walls, and a drain to drain the water out, And I would, like I said, I would have a washer, I'd have their mattress covered. You'd have to have limiting things, but you could still have some toys and stuff, and you just have to take their stuff, and if you have a sink down there, and you can put their stuff in to soak in the sink. They get poop all over their toys or whatever, throw them in the washing machine, have their own washing machine. You can get one of those stackable ones. You don't have to have a giant one down there, but you could have a stackable one, a sink. I would just set it up for what you're dealing with, because that would like really release a lot of your frustration. There's things that you can do. You got to think outside the box. You know, I want us to keep us in this box that we will find ourselves very frustrated because not everything fits in the box. So you got to think outside the box, you know, and it's not weird. You're not a weirdo if you do some weird room like that, you know. Like you have a rubber room for your kid, and if it's a kid who is always bashing their heads in, and yeah, maybe you want to have a cushiony room, a real rubber room. I mean, they do it at some of these hospitals and stuff. You can do it too. Like set your house up for what you're dealing with. Otherwise, yeah, you're just gonna have yourself just burdened and stressed out and losing your mind. And most people are not emotionally equipped. Most people are coming from their own trauma. And even if they didn't have a lot of trauma in this life, sometimes when you don't have a lot of trauma in this one, it's because you had so much in the last one. So you still have something you're carrying. You still have something. I mean, nobody's coming in here free and clear. Like nobody's like a new soul. It's never had any experience. No, we're all old souls, and we all have it's all a rustic side to ourselves. We all have what is that? I see like I can hear the word by hand, like I don't know, like I see this like a grizzle, like a grizzly old man side to us, like he's been through some shit. So we all have that, and we all carry it, and we're all here to release it. We're all here to find our truth, find ourselves, so we can find our center, and not being pulled in one direction or another. But they keep people in this pulling, you know, on these sides, and they keep these people over here of like, you're the better ones, these people are bad. They create a division, like, and it's trippy too, because you would think that there would be like a certain group that are told, you know, you are this, you would hold a lot of forgiveness and empathy for the others, but it creates very much like they're bad, they're horrible, they're no good. And there's so much of that going. It's just like sides. Oh, that was one thing that this Raina Palladian chick that girl talks to. She said that that is where we as humans keep ourselves in this warring, is as soon as we pick sides that we are feeding into this energy. And so she's like, you got to stop picking sides. You got to not be on one side or the other, because that is what continues this in mankind or humans reality or existence, this warring, because we keep that energy alive by picking sides and thinking that one side's worse than us. It's like we got to realize that it just depends on where you stand and how you see things. So, you know, just open yourself up, you know, and remember we are trying to get to the top so we can see more clearly. And don't just get into like, these are my, I bet I totally get the whole thing of like, you know, when you are in this kind of isolation of being considered a real weirdo in the world, that it is like, fuck, man, I want to be around some people that are like me. I want to be around people who get it. And you can talk freely and have weird conversations. You know, other people can listen to you and be like, okay, well, they're weird. But, you know, it's like when you're talking about the truth, a lot of people think it's weird because so many people, they just continue the storylines that they're fed and they're given, and they feed into it, and they feed into the division and the hate and all of that stuff. But it's all crumbling, it's all falling apart, and it's going to keep getting worse and worse and worse to get people to really set their priorities and to really have caring and compassion. And oh, what was that? Something was just like, because it was something about it's just about us having to, when things get to the worst is when we come together. So the worse things get, the more that we start putting down the things that divide us, the more that we put down our weapons, the more that we come together. And so things are going to keep getting worse until we see where people actually do come together. Like right now, we're at a point in time where it's very side driven, and so people are on their sides and they believe they're right and they believe they're right. It's like everybody's got to let go and come together in the middle and stop with the fighting. And so anyways, that Palladian girl that she talks to said that's a big problem here. And so when you find yourself dividing on one side or the next, she said, stop. That's every time that any of us can stop doing it, we make a rift in the energy. So we are changing the energy by changing ourselves. And so everything that we do to create change, it causes a ripple that goes out and makes change. So, we can sit back and go, well, it's them. Well, then we're right there. We're dividing. Right there, we're like, it's them. They're the problem. They're the reason we're in this problem in the world, because they won't stop fighting about this shit. But then right there, see, we're dividing. So it's like, the more that you can focus on compassion and understanding, like they're all being driven by their pain, they're all being led by illusion, and they're all being used by these other beings that have control over over our psyches, over our minds, over our experience. But they don't have control over our experience once we can see through it. Once we see, hey, you're trying to pull my strings. It's like click, 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 click. No, I don't give you my strings anymore, so you can't control them. And when you cut your strings, sometimes you find yourself living in a tent in a garage. Like, it can be anything. Like I shared this video because I was feeling so much on the intensity of the energy, and then I saw this other lady, and she was losing it, man. She was like, she went and, I don't know, there's some in the dollar store that I guess you take enough of it, I personally know you can't die unless you're meant to die. You can't leave early, even though that is a part of what we're fed in this illusion, that you can take your own life and exit early. It's not possible. I mean, I've seen where people have had horror. You'd think, like, well, if you blew your fucking face off, then yeah, you would definitely be dead. But no, it depends on what you're here to learn. It depends on what you're here to experience. And you cannot take yourself out early. You just can't. If you go see enough people who, even the guy who jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge, like that's like been 100%, except for this one guy, and he lived and he was there to tell you, like, don't do it. And, but that's the thing. It's like there is no for sure thing. But anyway, so she went and got something that she considered to be like her way out. And she was like, if something doesn't change today, I'm taking my way out. And like, she has this whole video. I shared it a couple days ago, I think. And so then she has another one though, where she's like, okay, I'm fine now. And, because things change quickly. Nothing stays the same. And it is very frustrating, when you do cut ties and you do follow your guidance and you do find yourself out here in this frustration of like, how long is it going to go? Like, I thought we were going to be moving a little bit faster. And so she's in her car, and she is out of money, she was out of gas, she was out of food, and she was just like, God, you have forsaken me. My guides, what are you fucking telling me to do this? And look where I'm at. It's like, when is and then especially when you believe in the magic and stuff, it's like, okay, when's the magic coming? Like, how long is this going to go on? How long are we going to drag through this? And it is frustrating. And so, cutting ties is a challenge in this existence. But, one thing is going to be, though, when the people who are holding on to the ties, when the things flip it's going to be very different, because then they're going to be like, oh my God, why did I hold on? Why did I do this? And then the ones who cut ties, it's going to be like, oh, now, oof, now it feels better. So it's going to be a flipping of these energies. So, it can be a struggle if you cut ties, especially if you feel like, oh, was it a little premature? But things will equal out. Things will, turn. We will have a turning directions. And it can be very frustrating, because especially when like, it's coming, it's up there, but what fucking far is it? Like, so, and again, but that's what you're here to experience. There's things that you learn and grow through all experiences. And it's hard to understand what you're learning and growing until you get a little bit further past, and you look back, and then you understand it a lot more clearly. Just like getting to the top of the peak and looking down and seeing, you see a lot more clearly. So anyways, let's look at my hair while we're seeing things. See this, I really do think it is growing a lot more, but I really want to see if this the B12, like if in a couple weeks it really is. And there's this guy who was saying, you got to watch out if you drink a lot of matcha, it can pull iron, so it can make you low iron, which will make your hair fall out. So iron is one of the things too. And so he was like, all you ladies and your hair's falling out and stuff, and you drinking matcha all the time, you better watch out. But then there was people in the comments like, oh, that's bullshit, don't say that, and all that stuff. But then there was other people like, oh yeah, that's true, it pulls your iron. So anyways, on all the things, don't just overdo anything. You gotta, no matter if it's something that's good for you, like sometimes I question, how many cups should I drink? Because even when it's something that's good for you, you can overdo it, because everything is about finding the balance, listening to your body and finding the balance, listening to your soul, finding the balance. Everything is about coming into balance at this time of our existence. It's like coming into our own and coming into a balanced state of mind, and facing, yeah, you have to face a lot of things to pull in to that balance, because like I said, otherwise we've been in this overcorrection all the time, and then we want to get into this like more tightly, but that's where you won't be bouncing from pole to pole. There is no good and bad and stuff. You got to find your own parameters. Everybody's got to find their own parameters, and we have to have respect for everybody, because we don't want to be dividing, and realizing that everybody's parameters are where they're at this time. So, and we've got to get out of this judging everybody like, oh, well, because it is hard. Life is hard, and trying to figure it out is hard. And they've got people trapped in mind traps of what they should be and how they should be and how life should be and stuff like that. And it's all a big motherfucking trap, which this is something that just, there's so much racism talk. And it's just like, it's so much coming to the surface of different minorities, racist to different minorities. Like there's so much of a bitterness of people against other people. And there's always been, well, it's the white people that create all the racism and stuff like that. When it's, I think it's coming to the surface that that's not it at all. But this is just like one of those hypocrisy kind of things, because you get these girls that are, black girls, and they'll go off on the racism and uh, racial, what is that, appropriation? What is that called? Where they're always like, white people are trying to uh, take other people's cultures and other people's stuff and claim it as their own, which, I think that there has to be a little bit of parameters on the white folk, because there is a lack of culture, and there is seeking, trying to find themselves too, because a lot of us are lab created, so white people is not a thing. And so, but that's where they want to create and control and stuff like that. And so they want to strip culture out of things. So I don't know, they did this, so that's a real thing. These incubator babies, this orphan trains, this Cabbage Patch babies, it was a real thing of them making babies in labs to start this new world. And so, which leaves the people in a place of like, well, what am I? Who am I? What is my culture? And so, there's a lot of people who are, they want to hold on. And I think some of the things that you gravitate towards, it's from your soul. So yeah, it can be girls that are really stuck on like Asian culture or something, which I don't even like to say Asian because that is fucking Oriental culture, culture from the Orient. And so they can feel a lot of strong ties to that, but it comes from inside their soul because they've lived through it. So they're trying to attach to these sides of themselves, these parts of themselves. So it's not so much of that they're trying to appropriate, or whatever the word is, other people's cultures. It's like they're trying to connect to something inside themselves, trying to connect to something to give themselves then a sense of self. And but then it offends a lot of people. And so, but I just think the hypocrisy of the offenses is coming to the surface too, because the one that I just saw, she was talking about these girls, white girls, and they are going and doing these braids, and then their hair's all breaking. And she said, "You're not meant to do these braids because you don't have the kind of hair for it. You got this thin, finer hair that it breaks easier. And then you're going and twisting it up in these braids and stuff, and your hair's breaking." And which, yeah, that's true. But when I see some of these people with these braids, it's like all I can feel is like a headache. It's like maybe they've got different scalps. Maybe their hair growing different does give them a different sensitivity on their scalp. But it's like, hell no, man. Even if I wear a ponytail for a few hours, fuck all. Feels like my head will be throbbing for hours. It's like I can't have all this shit pulling on my head for a long time. So, but the thing where I would say the hypocrisy of it is because all of these girls that black girls that have not worn their hair natural, who have taken and they put on, white girl style hairs. And I know it started with them beating them down and making them feel bad about themselves. Because when I was in high school, like everybody was froed, everybody had froze and stuff, and they were so fucking cool. Fuck, I thought afros were the coolest fucking shit. And everybody had them, and they'd walk around with their big picks, picking them out bigger and bigger, and they'd have this fucking cool ass hair, which is your antenna. And it's like, fuck, man. And they've got the melanin, they've got the iron in their blood. Like, there's so much more of a connection. They created the white people to take away the melanin, to interfere with your antenna and stuff. So they didn't want people to have this connection to this other part of existence. So anyways, but that's the struggle. But anyways, it's just weird when you hear them say, you're trying to take our hairstyles, our braids, our this, our that. It's like, yeah, but what has been going on for, even though it gets blamed on the white people, like, well, you wouldn't accept our hair. You made us feel bad about our hair, so we had to conform to your hair. It's like, everything's about coming into love with yourself and not, so yeah, it's just weird because there is like a hypocrisy and irony there or something. There's like a double standard. It's like, well, we can go in and we can go get weaves and wigs and all that. Now I don't even know if you're gonna be able to see my tooth. So okay, still. See, I'm trying to get fucking crazy. So, anyways, we better just end it because I don't know. I was about to do the tooth thing, so I don't know if you can see. But if I have to get up and go plug this thing back in. And I swear to God, this smell, I think maybe it's her anal gland. I remember she did have this, stank before. It's like, so maybe it is her anal gland. And I know because of her, she's got problems with her hips. So anyways, I don't know. But anyways, I was thinking about like that when she was sitting there like trying to shame these girls for trying to put braids in their hair. It's like, yeah, but what about all the girls that have been going against their natural hair and then going and doing these white girl hairstyles? It's like, yeah, I don't know. Anyways, I just think, we got to just let shit go. Just let shit go. Like, Yeah, these girls are going to try and do this. These girls are going to do that. It's all based on our own insecurities. And when we look deeper at ourselves, we'll see what drives us. And we'll see we need to pull ourselves in a little bit tighter. We're going here, we're going there, we're just all over the place. So, anyways, because it is all about learning how to love ourselves, learn how to love everybody else, and how to have the day we want to have, because it's up to you where you put your energy. So this looks really weird right now. It feels like look at this. It looks like I'm like glitching or something. That's weird. Totally looks like I'm glitching. God, that's weird. Anyways, so just remember, learn how to love yourself, learn how to love everybody, and learn how to have the day you want to have. That's where you put your energy. But we'll talk about it some more tomorrow. So talk to you later.